We're going to explore the motif of sleep in Shakespeare's Macbeth. We'll examine how Shakespeare uses sleep to convey themes of guilt, conscience, and psychological turmoil. We'll also look at specific quotations and their significance within the play. Shakespeare included the theme of sleep in Macbeth to highlight the psychological effects of guilt and the disturbance of natural order. Sleep is symbolic of peace and innocence. By showing how characters' sleep is disrupted, he underscores the consequences of their immoral actions. The lack of sleep, therefore, becomes a symbol of the characters' inner turmoil and the chaos they have unleashed. So, we're going to look at quotations regarding sleep from throughout the play, its connection to innocence, and the impact of regicide on Macbeth and Lady Macbeth's sleep. Now, first up, one of the most significant moments related to sleep occurs in Act 2, Scene 2. After murdering King Duncan, Macbeth hears a voice cry. Macbeth does murder sleep, the innocent sleep, and also Macbeth shall sleep no more. It is generally assumed to be voices he hears due to the immediate psychological consequences he faces, but he is convinced he can hear it. Regardless, the word murder here is significant. Macbeth has not only murdered King Duncan, but in doing so he has metaphorically murdered his own ability to find peace and therefore rest. Murdering sleep symbolises the destruction of his own inner peace too. The term innocent sleep emphasises this as well. It suggests that sleep is pure, restorative, and untouched by guilt or sin. By murdering Duncan, Macbeth has also destroyed his own innocence. Then, in Macbeth's next piece of dialogue, he comments that the voice continues and says Macbeth shall sleep no more. It seems almost helpless and despondent. The verb shall intensifies this, almost confirming with certainty that there will be no chance of peace for him. As sleep is essential for mental health, its absence signifies the start of his unravelling. Deprived of sleep, Macbeth, as we know, will become isolated in his torment. He is cut off from a fundamental aspect of human experience, highlighting his alienation and distancing from humanity. In Act 2, Scene 1, Banquo speaks of his own troubled sleep. The quotation reads, "A heavy summons lies like lead upon me, and yet I would not sleep. Merciful powers, restrain in me the cursed thoughts that nature gives way to in repose." Banquo feels a heavy summons, or a deep sense of foreboding that prevents him from sleeping. This is most likely due to the witch's words impacting him. Don't forget, they promised him that he would get kings. He is, however, desperate to be rid of these cursed thoughts. Unlike Macbeth, though, Banquo seeks divine help to restrain his dark thoughts. This contrast highlights Banquo's moral integrity compared to Macbeth's descent into guilt and madness. And zooming in a little, lead is a dense heavy metal, which metaphorically represents the oppressive weight of his thoughts and feelings. He is being weighed down by the temptations that stem from the witches, and is suffering because of it. The simile suggests that these feelings are so heavy that they are almost paralysing. The phrase "cursed thoughts that nature gives way to in repose" acknowledges that during sleep or repose, your natural defences are down and hidden, or suppressed thoughts may surface. Banquo fears these thoughts, which he considers cursed, indicating their sinister nature. This line reveals Banquo's inner conflict. He is almost scared to sleep because despite his virtuous nature, he is not immune to dark thoughts and temptations. His awareness and resistance to these thoughts, however, highlights his moral struggle and integrity. This passage underscores the theme of sleep as a vulnerable state. While sleep is typically a time of rest and restoration, in Macbeth it becomes a time when characters are haunted by their fears and guilt. Banquo's reluctance to sleep reflects his awareness of this vulnerability. This quotation, "Shake off this downy sleep, death's counterfeit, and look on death itself," is spoken by Macduff in Act 2, Scene 3, when he discovers King Duncan's murdered body. He urgently calls upon those in the castle to awaken and witness the horrifying reality of the king's death. The word downy refers to the softness and comfort associated with sleep. It emphasises the peaceful, innocent, and vulnerable state of sleep, but to shake it off suggests a forceful action, as if suddenly rousing someone from a blissful slumber, and therefore causing an immediate end to someone's peace. It becomes a metaphor for Scotland itself. Peace has been taken forcefully and suddenly with the murder of Duncan. When he refers to sleep as death's counterfeit, Macduff suggests that while sleep and death may appear alike, genuine sleep is peaceful, rejuvenating, and is temporary, whereas death is horrifying and irreversible. Another crucial moment is Lady Macbeth's sleepwalking scene in Act 5, Scene 1. Lady Macbeth's sleepwalking is a manifestation of her overwhelming guilt. She tries to wash away the damned spot of Duncan's blood, symbolising her inability to cleanse herself of her crimes. A reference to hell being murky suggests that she is already experiencing damnation in her mind, emphasising the psychological punishment of her guilt. Ironically, before her death, Lady Macbeth's sleepwalking is her only escape, yet it is filled with torment. The spot she is desperate to rid herself of represents the blood of King Duncan, a constant reminder of her involvement in the regicide. Even in her sleep, she cannot escape the psychological consequences of her actions. And furthermore, as I've said in other videos, you don't necessarily need to remember all of this quotation, as there's lots you can say about numerous individual parts of it, but this bit is interesting, so I didn't want to leave it out. The part when she says, 1, 2, why then 'tis time to do it, could be a reference to the night of Duncan's murder. She is reliving it through her nightmares as she sleepwalks. The 1, 2 could almost mimic her heartbeat, or her pacing around awaiting Macbeth's return from the murder scene. Also, when she says 'tis time to do it, this shows that even in her sleep she is constantly seeing the murder back again and again in her sleep, clearly unable to move past the event. It reinforces the inescapable consequences of regicide, signifying how her guilt has her frozen in that moment of time, unable to escape it even in sleep, where one should be able to find peace. And you do of course also have hell is murky. In her sleep she is there, seeing it in the present indicated by the word is. This present tense reflects the entrapment she is experiencing. She is damned and there is no escape. There is no escape from what she has done, not even in her sleep. In conclusion, Shakespeare uses the motif of sleep in Macbeth to highlight the destructive effects of guilt and inescapable consequences of one's actions. Through the character's disturbed sleep, we see the profound psychological impact of their actions. Sleep becomes a powerful symbol of innocence, peace, and the ultimate price of ambition and treachery.